traders, I hope you're enjoying your weekends. I am at long last feeling a fair bit better now. Went out for dinner last night, first time in ages, so I've been knocked sideways by this illness. 10 days I've been pretty ill, and that's just unprecedented in my life. I'm just not, I'm the kind of guy who's been to the doctor 4 or 5 times over many years, so never had to stay in hospital, never had a broken bone, nothing. So 10 days out for me is a long time. I'm back in the seat now. What I want to show you to start the theme of today's analysis is this ftse. This is the close on Friday, on the day we had poor retail sales, and we are 61.80. So huge, decent move on Friday. And as far as data is concerned, in the coming week, the US is off on Monday. It's Martin Luther King Day on Monday in the US, so Monday is going to be very quiet. And on Friday, next Friday, we have preliminary GDP for the UK, which is expected to be negative. If that comes in as expected, then this 127 extension up here at 62.16 might be the place where they will cap it, and we will see some pullbacks. Okay, I mean, stocks that we'll look at in a minute in the UK are doing pretty well, very well in some cases. So let's just see if the gravy train can carry on. Dow, decent, pretty similar to the ftse, very similar. And there you can see we're heading up to the monthly R2. That monthly R2 is major resistance, and we are getting extended on the RSI. We have a gap to the 8 EMA. That 526 is the gap. That's not much of a gap, pretty small. But let's see. So not a lot of data this week, apart from a few interesting things. I'll start to go through the charts. So we've started with the Dow. It's very high, but pullbacks are bought. If we get a pullback to 13,600, intraday trading, that is a good place to get in, possibly. Check your 60-minute charts. Let's check the 60-minute charts now, in fact. You can see all week we had this price holding, and then finally on Thursday we just burst out. Ran in front of the data and then topped out later on that day. So pull back to, there's the 600 level on the 60-minute chart. What you can see is major support, round number, so it makes sense. But obviously the US is away on Monday, so be very careful. Now I'll just stick to the day charts today because I don't want to make this video too long. Yen is still very weak. There's the US dollar yen at 90, and we are extended, so I'm not going to do anything there. Notice how the RSI keeps creeping lower on the new highs. So obviously 90 is a massive number to get through, and we do have a gap to the 8. US dollar Swissy is sideways. I wouldn't. That's just touching the daily 200. It's had a strong week. So we started the week down here 91.40. We're 93.40 now. We've hit a lot of resistance. I would just stand aside. We've got a bullish market, so I wouldn't want to start shorting the US dollar yet. Massive move in the US dollar CAD. That is now in play. So, and that does say something about the strength of the dollar, because if we get a pullback to 98.88 in the US dollar CAD, having broken through that monthly pivot, we could start to get to R1 and up to R2 up to 50% here. If that is the case, then we will see some retreating. We're right under the trend line. Let's tidy that up a little bit. Let's get rid of that. Take the trend line off. It's not actually telling us that much. but it is bullish. It's a decent move. Would I trade it? I've just noticed on my other screen that we've tested the daily 200 EMA up there. So what's got it against me is the fact we're between the 50 and the 200 EMA. You know, if you got in on an intraday chart, then just sit tight. But don't tend to like to get involved in charts that are stuck between that. Here's the good old British pound against the dollar, extremely weak. You know, they've really dumped this. We looked as if we were going to recover on the 10th. Decent move up, got close to that monthly pivot, and then we've just been selling off in small doses ever since. I did take a long at 160, didn't give it much room, because once we broke 955, then down we come. We look as if, you know, we could easily come right the way down to 156.64 at this rate. That is shortable. Bear in mind we're expecting negative GDP on Friday. I mean, any moves back up to 160 is to be short at this stage, unless of course we get some kind of stopping bar, reversal bar Monday, Tuesday during the week. But at the moment, you know, we are just heading potentially right the way down to 156.60, bottom of the fib zone. Pound yen, on the other hand, I mean, you know, the yen is still very weak. A little bit of a reversal bar under monthly R1, but it's just in a box, so I can't trade it. I would, however, if we come back to 140 and hold, I then would take an intraday trade and hold it overnight if the chart's permitted. Pound CAD is just a terrible chart, just leave it. Pound Aussie dollar, I did take a long and got stopped out. That's just not doing it. I took this stopping bar here to be a stopping bar on support. Spent a couple of days bobbing around underneath it, and then we had a very weak close on Friday. RSI is extended. I will just leave it and sit tight. Euro, a little bit like the pound yen, just sitting in a tight area there. Really pretty poor week for the euro. Just moved in a very tight range. Support was bought, resistance was sold in this very narrow range, looking potentially like a double top. Yeah, we are seeing strength in the dollar, so I would, but we're holding the daily 8 in this one. The daily 8 is just underneath this open and close on Friday. We start to close below that 133, and then I would consider a short. Euro yen, potential problem underneath R2. Euro pound's just been on tear, and the market's just completely fallen out of favour with the pound at the moment. That had a hammer on the daily pivot from 81.30 up to 84. Took a long while to get up there, but it get up there nonetheless. It did. Patience is a massive virtue, and patience is profit in this game. Euro CAD held 129. We're currently 132.10. A little bit of a reversal bar up there. I think there is a lot of resistance up there. If the euro does start to weaken, based on what I've just said on the daily, then this has topped out, and we have got about an 80-point gap to the 8 EMA. There's a reversal bar with a gap to the 8. It is shortable. If you take a break of 131.66, a stop above 132.48, and we haven't got extreme RSI. That's the only problem. We have not got extreme RSI, so be careful. And the other yen pairs are, that's the Swiss yen, hammer on Wednesday, moved up some, sitting tight up there. Will I trade it? No. Why? Because 97 has a major area of resistance. I just don't think there's much to go for. CAD yen, it's struggling up there. It's definitely struggling. CAD Swissy had a great couple of days, moved into resistance, so I just took it off at 94.80 and left it. I literally took it off that daily pivot, took it off just under the round number and left it. And it's done nothing for 3 days, or moved within a quite tight range. We are sitting on the 200 up there, so we are potentially looking at a consolidation, sitting on a fib zone, sitting just under the fib zone, so that has the potential to move sideways and possibly climb higher. I'll keep you posted. Aussie US, I did short this on, I think it was Thursday, took a small stop out. It did gradually grind lower, but we just closed just under 105, but just above 105 at 105.10. Massive resistance, and this is yet another sign we are seeing some strength in the dollar, so you need to be very, very careful. I think that the pound already sunk, pound US already sunk. I definitely think if the market does get a little vulnerable, then that euro is the one to watch. Because if we just close below 132.78, then that is definitely it. Short term, that is it. Aussie yen is holding up. Aussie Swissy is sideways, and Aussie CAD positive move, and that's decent bullish close. So pound US has had the most significant drop. And just wait to see what happens on the euro US for that one. So that's what I would suggest you want to do on that. Otherwise I would sit tight and let's see how the week unfolds. Oil was very bullish, had a great move, some thrusts up during the week, and then we finally bust up on Thursday, and we are extreme RSI up here. We've hit monthly R2. There is a lot of resistance up there. If I'm right about the dollar and we start to see some strength, then I would start to see that, wait to see if that trend line gets retested. So a low, if we see 94 and retest that trend line, that could be a good opportunity to buy, based on the fact that we are channeling up and we could be heading for 100 bucks. Very strong performance on some Chinese data last week, which cheered the markets up no end. Okay, so beginning to see some US dollar strength and US dollar CAD moving up like that, so that's what I'm looking at for the coming week. Okay, going to be moving on to, let's move on to commodities next. Let's just see what just have a quick flick through the commodities. The gold is sitting on the monthly pivot just. Soybeans had a move off of the hammer down there, and we've hit the fibs, so pretty predictable so far. If we get a retest of that hammer at any stage on the back of this strengthening dollar, I would be getting back in. Platinum had a decent run. Cocoa sideways. Sugar, that's got a lot of support down there. I think the sugar is very interesting, because if we break out of that to the upside, I think that could run and get up to 2020 pretty quick. So I would, if you're interested in, with the dollar strengthening, a sugar ETF that is trading dollars will be a double whammy for us Brits, because if the dollar strengthens against the pound further and the sugar moves to the upside, you get two pushes higher. Because if you buy dollars and the dollar strengthens, you get to buy more pounds when you liquidate your position. Okay, orange juice is good. That's a pullback there. I think that'll get back to 13. Cotton was good. So you can't see these charts very clearly, can you? I do apologise. Another look at orange based on that. So a pullback to 113.50 is the price to get in there, and the corn is following pattern of the beans. Beans are the most important grain to me, most volume in the futures market, literally more likely to bob around, give you bigger moves. Right, now I'm going to move on to stocks. UK stocks first. Excite continues to excite, XEL. I think we could see R3 sometime soon. It's an oil stock, 1112. If you're not in it, leave it. Vodafone, a bit of a messy stock at the moment. The chart's a bit messy, but if you're not in that, 160, you can see 160 this coming week. That is a good place to get in. Tesco, I talked about this coming off of 347, we're 350. I think that's holding. We've had a little excursion into this important zone above 352. I think if we get back, we could see R3 and possibly 380. Now Sainsbury's, I think this is there's a couple of very interesting charts, and Sainsbury's is one of them. You know, had a decent run up to 360 last year, and I think this is now a buy at 325, because if we move above 330, I think we're going to retest these areas up here on Sainsbury's. This is my favourite setup. This kind of apex is what I like to see. Rolls-Royce is doing okay after that monthly pivot test. Premier Foods is also moving sideways, looking good. If Premier Foods starts to break that, that can retest this R2. M&S is in play. The hammer on Thursday was followed by a move into S2 on Friday. General is doing it. We're talking about General, that's up to that tested £8 on Friday. 750 was the entry, so 750 to 8 already in General. Might see a retest of the trend line at 785. Otherwise, I think that's heading up for 870, possibly higher. The other one I like is First Group. I think this one, I love the way it's holding 190. If we break 195, that's coming to the daily pivot, possibly a gap fill at 205. And if it really gets going, then we're going to get up to here at 238. And what we got? Centamin is holding its own. Might see if we get a pullback to 50. I would retake that. I would get back into that one. I like that one a lot. And Balfour Beatty is holding its own very well. Possibly, any close above 2973 pounds, then that's going to do a gap fill to 305. BT had a good day on Friday, and BG continues to grind up. That is now extended and might see a pullback to 1070, but overall that's looking very good. A nice pattern down there, and that's working out well. Other stocks I like are UK stocks. I like this one. Let me see if I can call this up. It's not going to let me do it, so I'll go and find it elsewhere. This one got me interested from huge move on Friday. It's not making money, so be careful with this one. But I do like the way this is a massive trend line, and that's just cut through it. So a pullback to 13 with a stop under 12 on ENEG. In the meantime, let's look at some US stocks. And there are still some concerns in the market, and this is one of them. The Nasdaq is flatlining. and Apple is just hovering on $500, and Google had a poor week. We're on a trend line, we're holding a trend line, but it's a poor week. Break above 705 again, 710, and that can work. JPM is strong, but there's a lot of other good strong cases. Bank of America, a couple of weak closes, end of the last week. McDonald's is nice. So a good call for the member who looked out for this one, because that's a decent close up there at 92.25. Looks as if 94 is on the card, so let's just see how the markets go. Goldman's is on a tear. I mean, that was a great little price action around here. Little hammer under the 50, close above, holds the 50 MA, and then once it starts to close higher, then all pullbacks are bought on Goldman's. It's a typical price action. Facebook sideways, Caterpillar, so strong, some good stuff. There's BG. Right, let's go back to the other US ones I want to show you. Sandisk is holding up. RIM has gapped up to 1584. So off of that monthly pivot there at 12.23, we're up to 1584. There's a lot of indication. There was indication that we could do it. We're in a little apex there. It's just not. Once we bust, we just ran sideways. Let's move down. Nvidia. I like Nvidia a lot. It's my Dell PC I'm talking to you on has got Nvidia cards. A lot of us have got Nvidia products, and if we close above 12.28 on next week, early part of next week, I will be a buyer to see if we can get up to 150. So that'd be 1250 at 1500. Okay, so I like Nvidia. It's on my watch list. And there's Google, there's Goldman's. This chart is so much better. This is a free chart. I'm going to do a very cheap session on this, so anyone else to join me. There's Apple. I think that's it. There's 3D Systems just going bananas. Okay, and I've got some other US stocks on my watch list, but I will deal with that on Monday. While the US is closed, I'll deal with it then. Okay, so looking potential. So just recapping, looking for possible pickup in the dollar, which could affect the strength of that euro and bring that euro back down to earth. 131.50 is a massive number, and so I'm just looking to see if we close and break 132.84 on the euro. Any pullbacks in the yen pairs will be very welcome, so I would love to see some weakness in something like the pound yen to see if we can drag that down and get that down. I'd love to see that down at 137.80, but let's wait and see. So you can see we're in an apex here with this R1 monthly pivot up here and this trend line at the lows. So we start to test this trend line and fail. We could drop here. Equally, we could come here and test this trend line again by early part of the week, maybe latter part of the week, and then thrust up on another move up. So I'm going to be very pound yen is going to be a big focus for me. Okay, that's it for now. So please enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I will talk to you on Monday morning via the video as to the program for the Traders Roundtable and the program for some up and coming ideas I'm putting together. Okay, so stay tuned and have fun, and bye for now.